Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL One Battlefield 4 Spring Finals. I'm your host for this weekend, Mitch Leslie. I'm here with Milos the Medic, and we have finished, of course, our group stages, now into the playoffs, and we got a massive game to start us off here.
Oh yes, it's going to be Dexterity versus Epsilon. The hope of the Americas, the first ever team into ESL One here in Cologne for Battlefield 4. All the way from Brazil, winning against every single one of the teams. Elevate taken down, Uran taken down, and now they're here. They have to prove their worth, and they've already taken down MYM and SK in the group stages. We thought these guys would go, maybe if they qualified to today, go through the lower brackets, but they won out against their group, their top seed, and now they're going against Epsilon in the first semifinal. I mean, this is on its own a fantastic thing, but if they can win out versus Epsilon, I mean, I don't know what to say at that point.
I mean, let's pick out the bracket for the playoffs anyway and see what we're going to be watching for the rest of today. So obviously, yes, Dexterity Gaming and Epsilon. Obviously, the other game will be Fnatic and Meet Your Makers. That just sort of scraped through in that last one against SK. But back, of course, to this one at hand. You know, it's funny. When you see teams that might qualify via wildcard or via another region, for example, one especially that we have minimal information on, the expectation is always that, oh, they'll drop out, or they move into the lower bracket, as you said. It's always like a novelty. It's just cute. We know there's a representation from another region, and everyone was in the novelty of that wore off really quickly once we started seeing that these guys are meant serious business. Look, Epsilon already had a game today. It wasn't easy, it wasn't pretty, it was a bit of a grind out for them. They got through, whereas Dexterity are fresh. What kind of impact do you think that's going to make on these guys?
I mean, Epsilon right now, they're trying to get into their mindset to think, guys, okay, they were focusing, and we spoke to them last night and this morning. These guys are just focusing on the game. They're trying to finish out versus Infamous, and indeed they did on a third map on Zavod 311. But now they have to face off, as we were saying, a fresh opponent. They're ready to pump, and these guys, we thought, as we were saying, they're coming here and, you know, just to representing Brazil. And we see, of course, one of the players, actually, Julio, from Dexterity, he has the Brazilian flag. He's waiting not just to represent, but to bring them to the finals versus the winner of Fnatic v MYM. So here, it's going to be one doozy of a game. And I don't know, I really want to call out which team might win, but it's so close. I love both teams. I love their spirit. I love their plays. And I know that they will both be bringing their A games here today.
Well, there's a lot on the line in this game, not just pride, not just national pride as well, of course, as Brazilian representatives look to continue to shake things up. It's going to be a massive game. And let's let our casters break this one down for us a little bit more. Gentlemen, put this one under the microscope for us.
Thanks very much, Mitch, over the desk. Some good words there from Milos as well, saying just how much this means to Dex. I mean, the fact that they're here is awesome enough. Like, literally, they could have turned up, gone out into, and we'd have been like, so good to see them. Here, though, at the semi-finals, and they are still going strong. Lots of teams fearing them, and Brett, you see this on paper. I was just saying to you off air, I was just going, you know, how do you actually see this one breaking down? You've had a bit of an extra eye on Dexterity before us, and what do you think about this one?
Well, just from what I was seeing in the past matches for this weekend that I have seen, and then also with the past matches that I've seen in other leagues from them, I think that we could be seeing this like a 3-1 in favor of Dexterity, actually. Oof, okay. Yeah, I that's what I'm kind of calling right now. And right there, we do see Mav, Nesk, Wag, Julio, and 9 right there on your screen. Very, very beautiful looking people. But they are going to be, like, you know, like they basically said, they're the hope of the Americas. They're the team that has a whole bunch of pressure on them to perform. To be honest with you, though, I think they've already done what they needed to do. I mean, they're here to win. That is no doubt about it. But honestly, they have made it farther than anybody ever thought they could. Taking their group, 2-0-2-0 sweep, being #1 seed. They are facing off against Epsilon, and as I mentioned before yesterday, they played Epsilon in a different league before, took it to a map number 5, very close map number 5. But it really came down, I think, to the type of maps that are being played. I think that if we see a good set of maps here for Dexterity where Epsilon is not able to get a momentum switch, so I think that if they stay away from like maps like Lockers, you know, on like a map 3 or something like that, or you know, something in those regards, I think that they could definitely take this a 3-1 in favor of Dexterity.
Well, the order of maps as well is very important. Let's put Epsilon, though, on your screens. Their opponents, a team who recently did actually meet Dexterity in an online cup. BPL was the cup, 7,000 euros on the line for that one. And actually, we did see Epsilon come back think in a best of 5, Dexterity took the first 2
Yeah.
and then 3 straight. So these guys have met online. Of course, there was ping. There was a whole lot of other factors weighing in on that one. But I mean, the fact that these teams have met and it did go to 5 may be indicative of how this one may go. Still roster on your screen for you: David, Horek, Duke, Safe, and Mayek. One of the individuals that stands out to me and that will continue to stand out to me is Mayek. Such a fun story with him. Such a fun story. The fact that he couldn't play beforehand, everyone was like, who is this kid online? This guy can't be legitimate. He's so strong, calling him like a turret. He just turns up at LAN and goes, all right, I'll just do exactly the same thing again.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think that, you know, the Mayek Safe combo is just so good. So freaking good. And these guys right now are going to be going over to the map Vetoes. I do think that we're going to be seeing, I think Epsilon's going to be able to ban out. I'm probably going to be like Land King Dam. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. Goldman Railway there for Dexterity. I do think that we might see a, the locker actually being banned.
First pick.
Oh, no, pick, I'm sorry.
Best of 5, bro.
I'm still stuck on best of 3s. I do apologize, guys. But yeah, best of 5, as we do have Locker for map number 1, Dawnbreaker for map number 2, Zavod right there being picked for Dexterity. I do think that's a pretty good map for them. Really leans towards a more aggressive floating around style of play. And then our tiebreaker right there will be on Paracel Storm. Pretty good map lineup. Yeah,
Operation Locker is going to be a kind of interesting debut for these guys. Dexterity, of course, a team who we have seen on Operation Locker before, and I'm pretty sure they were just leaping around corners. It was a kind of, I was talking to the players outside, and they were just saying, like, you know they're coming. You can hear their footsteps. You know that they're about to push this corner. And normally, when you know that two people can kind of both hear each other, one of them stops. Like, they go, here they come, and they wait.
The difference is the pre-fire.
Yeah.
Dexterity has learned, and this is actually common for South America teams. They pre-fire everything.
Right.
No matter what. They just assume there's going to be a guy there, because there normally is, and they pre-fire it when they come around the corner. It's a pretty common tactic that they use. It's something that even the North Americans have trouble dealing with. So, yeah. Something that probably the Europeans are going to have to really, really adjust for pretty darn quickly. And we'll see if Epsilon is going to be able to do that. Now, again, Epsilon has a little bit of history with them, so they kind of already know how they play. Yeah. They kind of know that play style. They've seen them all weekend long. They've had 2 previous matches to go ahead and watch them and, you know, basically study them and how they play on these certain maps. So, you know, Epsilon might be the team. I was talking to Safe a little bit earlier, and he's feeling pretty confident. He said if there's going to be a team that takes them down, it's going to be us.
No, you see, we've had 2 contrasting conversations with Safe, because he's confident. Now, that's true. He's always going to be confident, but he was saying to me that his team, his job is to stop his team getting depressed. Because, honestly, he was saying that his team are having nightmares about Dexterity. That, you know, before their Infamous game, he was just saying, yeah, they're not even thinking about Infamous. They're thinking about Dexterity, assuming we beat Infamous. That was the stage that Epsilon were at. So they really are kind of thrown off a little bit by this team. And that's so fun to see. This is a storyline that I'm going to really get behind, because I love to see Dexterity here. It's great to see that Brazilian flag on the back of Julio's chair. And so going into this one, we are going to be jumping into Locker in just 10 seconds time. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to the ESL One Spring Finals, as we're going to be jumping into this one in just 5 seconds. On the left-hand side of your screens, we have Dexterity, the Brazilians, and on the right, the representation from Europe. It's Epsilon, and they're red.
Yeah, here we go with the breakouts. We are going to be seeing currently Epsilon going in for a little bit of an aggressive play here towards that Bravo flag. Duke BT will be the first one down below, and does look like they're going to go ahead and just back on up. David 2K will be the one actually pushing into that. He does end up going down, so we are going to be seeing it looks like a C site here taking over here for Dexterity. Dexterity also taking control of B, but a big push coming in onto that Alpha flag. Nesk trading out, getting taken down, not able to get onto the burn just yet, but Duke BT looking like he might be able to go ahead and get the rotation there for that Bravo flag. At the same time, we do see that Alpha flag getting rotated on for Dexterity.
And we can see already that A flag is going to start lighting up blue. Epsilon looking to kind of control this map, and you can see with now B and A going under Epsilon rule. They're going to kind of maybe gift away that B site. They're well aware of the presence there in that B tunnels, and with just 3 members alive, they realize that their numbers aren't quite ready for that tri-cap, but they do have it for an instant, and already that's going to take a chunk out of the Epsilon tickets. I just realized I got my colors mixed up. I was actually talking about Dexterity that entire time. Either way, though, Dexterity just 1 ticket down, and already this is a strong start for the boys from Brazil.
Absolutely. Epsilon right now looking for a little bit of a hole here to push out of. They currently are getting bottled up inside mid. They're really wanting to go out toward this C play, which is something that we've seen a lot here this weekend, is going up through mid into C, but Dexterity might just be ready and waiting for it. We do have Wag right there with a really good pickup, and I believe he had smokes maybe on him there at the time instead of a medpack. I don't know what the deal was with that, but we will be seeing Epsilon coming out on top in those exchanges going outside, and will Safe be able to get onto the burn just yet? He's still waiting in for those spawns. Julio trying to lock it down as best as possible, not able to do so, as now we are going to be seeing that C side starting to tick on over, but at the same time we did have a little bit of a pressure being put on Alpha and Bravo.
And so this is where it kind of comes down to the wire for Epsilon. They're 110 right now. The bleed finally going in their favor. It's all about maintenance, keeping this hold now. B and C, not the most ideal hold, that's for certain, as now two players make it one as a quick frag is picked up. Last man is going to be Ness trying to make this push on towards B. Whether it's a push or whether it's just going to be a spawn beacon play, you can see the rest of his team are grouping, but in the meantime, David putting on his mask and going kind of stealth mode as he's going to be picking up that A site. In the meantime, though, looks like that offensive towards B has gone well for Dex.
Yeah, that's kind of what David is actually known for, is, you know, getting back behind him and going in for those back caps when the other teams aren't really focusing too much on that particular push. But Duke PT coming in for the save onto that alpha point will be able to get that burn back in their favor. But at the same time, we see a really good rotation here for Dexterity. Horik, though, might be able to be the man to stop this push. He's currently having a little bit of trouble there at the beginning of the game. I think it was actually 0-4, but he's able to get a couple of those frags in at the last second. But massive carnage happening there on the Charlie flag will end up going into the favor here for Epsilon, but we do have a back rage that is going to be coming in here for Ness. Takes him down. Very nicely played here from Dex. Could go for the two-piece. He does. He gets the two-piece on C, opening that up now. And with the pressure here from A, we could potentially be seeing a wipe, as a lot of the players from Epsilon aren't even spawned in.
Yeah, you can see they're just desperately spawning in on that A flag. They know that there's going to be a swarm of players approaching or encroaching on towards their position, presenting himself towards Beepers. It's going to be a flat-out exchange. It's actually Mayek who takes down his teammate. Not ideal in this scenario, as you're going to see Julio just charge on in through the infirmary, trying to clear out any position in that corner area. And you can see already, though, that B and C flag hold for the Dexterity team is basically being held by an offense onto A. It feels weird to say, but that's exactly what Dex are doing. Yeah,
they're just basically nubbing them back up inside of Alpha Flag, not letting them out at all. Now, they did let one leak. It looks like Safe is going to be over there on top of Mountain. It's going to be on a one-on-one, but taking some damage there from that frag. 39 health, but at the same time, we do have a big fight happening over here onto Alpha Flag. Mayek is trying to stay alive. One-on-one. He's going to be able to take down two. Looking for the Rex kill, potentially. Beautiful job there for Mayek. And we'll see if he's going to be able to get anything off the back end of this. Still no help from his teammates just yet. It's canceled out. So they're not winning the burn here on Alpha Flag, and the spawns coming back in for Dexterity is going to be way too much. 3 players against 1. I love Mayek, but that's almost an impossible situation. Now we see a 3 cap coming in here. This is really not a good start for Epsilon.
Yeah, I think he needed his flak jacket there. He was in trouble, as Wack does. Just try and get the spot, try and get the frag. Not going to happen. Safe getting the better of him with the ACW of all weapons. And now they are going to be seeing, once again, an offensive from Epsilon. It feels like they may be putting a few too many eggs in this A basket, as they are going to be forced to just quickly go, oh dear, we forgot about B, and start that rotation. Horik at the helm. He's going to be trying to guide that push in, as he's going to be kind of battling in that toilet area. Nice couple of frags across the board, though. Dex down to just 3 men, and they need to take full advantage of these numbers. Admittedly, those kills were on C, but this is where Epsilon need to strike.
Yeah, absolutely, and they are going to be able to get onto that Charlie site. And we do see 103, 255, yeah, like you were saying. And I mean, this is a massive advantage here for Dexterity, but we've seen some pretty big ticket swings previously against a very good team. So it's not like Epsilon is out of this by any means. We're still in the first round. So at the very least, they need to get a pretty decent hold here. Maybe a squad wipe on their own end in order to come back out of this. But we do see, it looks like Wag trying to hold on here. Horik with a really good shot there on top of Alpha Flag. Now he's going to be coming in. Oh, gets the second one. Not going to be able to get the third. Last second spawn coming back in. How low on health was he actually there? It looks like Mav narrowly escaping there, but that could have been huge if Horik was able to succeed there.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing here that we need to recognize is just how quickly those tickets are falling away from Epsilon. It feels like we're already 5 minutes in. In fact, we are 5 minutes into this game, and 95 to 40, those tickets have just been pulled from under Epsilon's feet. Now they're looking to stabilize, and that's not the best way to do so, as A and C once again flying that flag for Dexterity. As now 9X trying to be the hero, going to basically be sitting and basically doing what should be 2 or 3 men's jobs. He's going to hold up once again. David slipping on down, as they're going to see once again this map staying blue for far too long. Epsilon, they're starting to run out of tickets to work with here.
They are indeed. 31 left. We do see two-man push happening over there onto the alpha site. Dex is having a little bit of issues here, holding on defensively, but really, they should be able to rotate in time. But oh, look at the spawns. The spawn was actually on C, so they're not going to be able to get those back B positions. This is Epsilon's chance right now. We see a one-on-one right here. David 2K coming out on top there against Ness, but he's getting pressured from the right. Will end up getting picked up. Duke PT now will try his hand at as he's going to be up here for the hipfire spray. Nice job here for Epsilon as they might be able to hold on to this for a massive ticket bleed.
It could potentially be the turnaround, but it needs to be such a big one. Even if they just got this ticket lead down, that is their job complete, really, as Julio not going to quite be the master of the frags this time, as he has picked up 11. In fact, the entirety of Dexterity are doing a fantastic job in terms of frags, but finally, Epsilon stabilize on C.
Yep, they're going to rotate onto that Charlie site, giving away B. We'll see how well they're actually going to be able to push him back into that Bravo flag. But oh, wow, 3 players now coming back in onto that C site. That is going to be an impossible objective there for Mayak, who, by the way, Mayak has been that guy that's just been overwhelmed time and time again. And I mean, you got to be confident in his abilities as a team, but still, you got to give the guy a little bit of help every now and then. Julio trying to pick up a 2-piece down below, but not able to get the res in time. Will be able to allow his team enough to rotate back over to Bravo for that defense. 72-18. We'll see if Epsilon can actually drag down a little bit more. They need to get it about, I would say, at least down to around 45, 50 tickets.
They certainly need to, and I mean, this just feels overwhelming, seeing this Dexterity side. Whenever I'm watching that minimap with just 12 tickets left for Epsilon, it has to be said that it really is not a great position to be in, but it just seems that Dexterity are not a normal team. They are not playing what we expect to see. Even when I look at the minimap, I just see this kind of 5 roaming players, and they seem to play it to such precision that it kind of just bites Epsilon in the bum. 3 tickets now remain, and that's going to be pretty much said and done if the last ones are going to tick away, and that's going to be a very handsome threshold for the Dexterity boys if they can keep this above 60.
Yeah, these reses right now are going to be very important. They have managed to get that 2-cap burn. 65-2. We are going to be seeing Julio picking up another kill there on top of that Bravo burn. Oh, 2-on-2 now. Down below, Mayak will not be able to get the kill. He ends up getting picked up there by Julio. Julio trying to look for this last player. B flag gets capped over, and that is going to be it. 61 tickets to 0. Epsilon falling out of probably one of their, I don't know, I would say that would be a map that they really needed to play well on. 61 tickets is not bad. I mean, we've seen teams being able to come back from that. They did have, in my opinion, the easier breakout side for that particular map, and we are going to be seeing Dexterity just, I mean, they had control of that game the entire time.
Yeah, 19 frags for Julio, next on 17, and I mean, that is a couple of standout performances from those two. Julio at the top of the scoreboard once again. Mav, though, is one of those kind of top fraggers for the Dexterity side, not having the game he potentially can do, but when the rest of his team are performing as they are, he's allowed to have that fallback performance, and it's good to see other individuals stepping up when it's necessary. That, though, is a very solemn face for Safe. He kind of knows that this was a map that they needed to win, needed to perform on, and it seems clear that they are not happy with their performance on that one.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, you know, he's there, or his opinion anyways, he's there to basically keep his team's spirits from getting down too low, which, you know, you would think that these guys have been here enough times. They've played against some pretty tough teams. Why is that even a thing that they should be worried about? You know, I mean, this is Epsilon we're talking about. I mean, these guys are constantly going back and forth with Fnatic. They would be, I think, in my opinion, the #2 solid team.
Oh, they are. Oh, definitely, yeah.
And yet they're worried. I mean, they need to respect Dexterity, obviously, but you don't need to be worried to the point where it's like you're going to get depressed if you lose a little.
Do you know why, though? It's because they're so used to knowing every team. Let's not forget, like they know the lineups, they know like the players, they know how every single player plays because they've been playing for 4 seasons now. Yep. Like they know them inside and out, and suddenly this unknown entity just makes an appearance and they have nothing. Like in their brains, they're treating this like a fresh slate. They're like, do we treat this like SK? They've got everything in their mind for SK, but no, it's Dexterity, and they do not know how to deal with them.
That actually might be one of their problems right there, is that they're trying to treat them like they're another team. They're trying to adapt a strat that they would use for like SK or Infamous, and that's not how you want to really look at it. You want to try and maybe just pull out some new strats of your own. Maybe instead of reacting, they should be proactive instead of reactive in this situation. That might be the way to beat Dexterity. Make Dexterity bend to your will, not the other way around.
I think that's going to have to be their plan. 61 tickets is that threshold as we're about to jump into our second half of our first map here in this best of 5 semi-final of the ESL One Spring Season Finals. Here we go then. On the left-hand side of the screens now, Epsilon on the right, Dexterity. And why don't you walk us through this start, Brett?
Yeah, Nesk right now is going to be with that Engineer kit. This is pretty standard here for Dexterity. They come out really quick here with the Engie. Look for the quick kill. Not going to be finding it just yet. Usually they get some splash damage there or just a straight-up kill with Nesk because he's going to be able to take down Hork. But look at how much pressure Epsilon is actually putting back out here. 3 players going to be coming in onto that C side. We do see a little bit of a trade going over there into the favor of Dexterity just because they did get that flag pull. But Duke PT now trying to go back and forth with those Magnum shots, not able to connect with any of them, as we do have WAG now coming back in for the kill. So C and A will be in the possession of Dexterity, but I like what Epsilon is doing. Look at the aggression that they're putting in over here. I think it could work. If they could just get maybe 1 or 2 of these frags to go to direction, they could end up getting it back towards their momentum.
Whoa, that's a very important pick. Horek just looking up into the mountainside, catching one down WAG, and now the C flag will be flying Epsilons for a short period of time at least, as now B is vulnerable. You can see Dex starting to catch on. You can see already that lurker roll around C as well, as now the next gonna be just setting himself up for the cap. I'm pretty sure Epsilon don't have a chance to take this one back just yet. Instead, they are actually suddenly, oh, here come the spawns. 2, make it 3, making an appearance. Meg gets the opener onto Mav, and all of a sudden, WAG is in trouble. He goes down as well, and suddenly, this B site that looks so secure for Dexterity could be under threat.
Yeah, I think the big deal, though, right now is the fact that they are going to be able to rotate on C. So they ended up, yeah, they're going to be losing B, but they're going to go ahead and rotate onto that Charlie flag and go ahead and secure that. But that is going to be 9, cleaning it up onto Bravo. Triple cap, as we will be seeing Epsilon spawning over here onto the back A side of the map. Dexterity will try and, looks like they're going to be cleaning up B flag. Duke PT doing some work there inside Elbow, taking down 2 of the players from Dex, but not able to stop the burn there onto the A flag. We will be seeing Dexterity, though, still with that lead, 109 to 141. 61 ticket disadvantage there for that. It's not looking good.
It certainly is not. 40 tickets left to work with to the 140 of Dexterity Gaming, as we're going to see a huge push. Look at them go. Nesk on your screen connecting with the ACW, as did Julio, and now just 97 left in the Epsilon bank. 2 men down already, Safe and Duke on the spawns, and one of those men who I just mentioned yet to pick up a kill, Safe, on that very resounding, loudly 0. As we'll see if how he is planning on performing that one. In the contrast, you can see on the scoreboard, Nesk 7-0. I don't know which teammate I'd rather have on my team at this point.
Yeah, right now, Dexterity is just all over them. They're able to get frag after frag after frag. Epsilon not able to have any kind of answer for it. Now Nesk will be over there onto 8-0. We are going to be seeing A-side starting to get pressured here from Epsilon. Not able to push back in, though. Julio, like a second line of defense. His first teammate going down there in the front, but he's going to be backing it on up. Epsilon, though, not willing to say die. They will be able to push on in. Do get both of the kills. C-side will be taken over here for Dexterity as they look for another push somewhere else on the map, but with 75 tickets left on the board, I'm going to say that Epsilon has basically no chance of coming back here. They're really just trying to play for maybe some pride, get a little momentum in their direction to go into map number 2. But I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't know what Epsilon can do to beat this.
I think it starts to look towards map number 2. It will be Dawnbreaker, and I think that's going to be what they basically need to be talking about right now. Yes, run around, get the frags, put Dexterity on a bit of a tilt if you can, but really your priority is going to be map 2. Dawnbreaker in this best of 5. Let's not forget, then you need to pick up 3 of these 5 maps in order to secure victory, and so they have a whole lot of leeway if this one hasn't gone to plan. But Brett, you said beforehand that this was an important one for Epsilon. This
was a huge one for Epsilon. Like, this particular map, in my opinion, Epsilon needed to have either a very, 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 very close game or they needed to win it.
Right.
This is one of their, in my opinion, better maps. I know this weekend it's been up and down as to whether it is or not, but I do think that this is one of their better maps. So for them to lose it right out of the gate like this, especially with them coming off of a win, that's a big deal. Them coming off of a win, not able to really do much here in this first map. Dexterity technically cold coming into this match. And I don't know, Epsilon, they may have been a little bit too scared.
There is potential there. I mean, it's a big advantage for Dexterity to be that unknown entity. Everyone's looking at you like kind of with a little extra bit of fear, a little extra bit of a kind of uncertainty, and that's actually a real benefit to you, especially if you play with confidence, because it's just going to really, this is be exuding an air of confidence. Right now, though, I feel like we could see just how close they are to defeat here. Just 8 tickets left.
Yeah, and with the rotations there for Dexterity, they're already going to be able to get onto Alpha Flag. We'll be getting that nice little 2 cap to finish out the burn. 65 tickets left. We do see just the last few going to be ticking on by as, Epsilon really just had no answer for anything that Dexterity was throwing at him. I mean, if you take a look at it, 13-2 there for one of the Dex players finishing out this round. We do see only Duke actually doing well, 15-8. Maybe it's because they both speak the same language, Portuguese and Brazil.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. They're like, hey, we'll be good for Duke. He's our brother here. But Safe went negative. How many kills was it? 8? No, 7. 7 kills. To 0.
Barely that.
Or 7 deaths. I mean.
Yeah, he didn't pick up any kills. He was 0-7 at one point.
That's ridiculous. You cannot have Safe going negative like that. As I said before, Horik and David, I can see maybe going negative.
Yeah.
But Safe, Mayic, and Duke have got to be able to go positive, especially Safe and Duke, because I think they're really good run-around fraggers. And then, Mayic, really, he only heats up when Epsilon's having those 2 flag burns, and he's able to anchor when the rotations are coming out.
Well, I described him before as a turret, and it's exactly what he does. He sets himself up, and he will just let them go. You send stuff towards him, and he will deal with it.
Yeah.
That's kind of Mayic's role.
And it's funny too because when he started playing here, a lot of people were complaining about that. He's like, that's not how you're supposed to play. He just sits there and waits for you to come to it. It's a smart play.
Yeah.
It's extremely smart play. So we are going to be seeing our next match coming up, which will be on Dawnbreaker. And this is a map that we saw Dexterity utterly destroy MYM. There's no other word for it. They destroyed them.
Didn't sugarcoat it, but you're right. Yeah, it was really kind of a encouraging performance from Dexterity. Is a sugar-coated version.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So, I mean, did you notice any inherent differences between the way Dexterity approached Dawnbreaker, or is it quite literally just the same? Just apply, copy-paste Dexterity on a map.
Dexterity is not a constant on Dawnbreaker that I've seen in the past. They will even tell you, Dawnbreaker's not a good map for us.
Oh, right.
They will actually say, Dawnbreaker's 50-50. Sometimes we play it well, sometimes we don't. So for them to be able to come out like that, we'll see if that's going to be the case here today.
And here we go, Dexterity up against Epsilon. It's on the map too, and it's going to really be kind of do or die for the boys from Europe, as now we're going to be seeing Duke trying to get an opener on towards this B side. But look at this swarm of blue that is going to be encroaching on towards the Epsilon side. Nesk, this for us to change, doesn't actually hit his opening shots. The next going to be trying to pick up where he left off, though, and he doesn't, as it's going to be first blood drawn by Wag elsewhere on the map with the AEK, and B and C starting to light up blue as Dexterity's kick this one off.
Yeah, we do have a really good back rage here onto that Bravo flag for Epsilon, as they will be able to get that burn onto B side. But the thing that Epsilon has to be careful of is to not get stuck over onto Charlie. That is where really MYM made the mistake last time. They got stuck in the backseat. They weren't ever able to come out, and Dexterity might be able to do the exact same to him here in just a few moments, as we do see that A flag going back into their possession. Look at the pressure. Oh my God, the pressure here from Dexterity is nuts. We're seeing them sitting inside B office. They're also going to be sitting outside of ledge as well. This is just crazy play right now. Safe's going to try and push on out. He will be able to get across bridge, as he will be meeting in a one-on-one versus Wag. Wag, though, failing to save. That's a huge play, which will open up that alpha burn. They needed that.
They needed that, and they needed that about 10 tickets ago, but still 147 now to just 126, and Dex just seem to be the masters of openers in this game. They seem to be very good at stabilizing with this kind of incredibly offensive defense of the two sites, and they're just going to be like, okay, you take A, we'll take that C from you, and it's going to be happy with that one for now. As just 6 tickets lost for the Brazilian sides. Mayic doing what Mayic does best, though, setting up kind of a perimeter around that B site. As look at Dexterity, they're going for a walk, they're going for a run. It's going to be Nesk who's got his Nikes on, as he's going to be heading on towards that meeting room, picking up the A site, and he's going to be holding an angle that, wow, I mean, that cushion is in trouble.
Why was Epsilon not leaving an anchor back? What was the why?
They're trying to treat fire with fire, Brett. They're trying to throw like, okay, let's play like Dexterity, I guess. They just completely throw their standard plays out the window.
I mean, I know they needed to throw some curveballs at him, but still, you don't ever leave nobody there onto that alpha burn. I mean, I guess it's going to work out right now. They've managed to secure that alpha site. They will be able to get a 3-piece off the back end of that Dexterity with those really good A spawns coming in. Julio will be your first player to try and push on in over there onto that alpha site. We do see a couple of incendiaries being pushed out. That's what we were talking about before. Use those incendiaries. Make sure you can kind of push them outside of particular corners just to deny them that particular cover.
Yeah, very nice positioning from him. And now, as the tickets begin to level out, it all comes down to Mayek, who once again opens up that A site in a 1v1, winning out on these duels more often than not, it seems. As Safe is going to be there to spawn on in, trying to get sprayed down. Does takes down Nesk, and now we see the Brazilians kind of caught in the middle ground. They're going to give him it's going to give him a lot of freedom, though, right, Brett? If you just have that B site, that gives you a whole lot of spawning freedom.
Well, yeah, they should be able to cut off over here onto C site. They will be able to get that burn there pretty soon. But the problem is that they're not going to be set up for a defense onto B because they have to go back for Charlie. They needed somebody up on ledge. They needed somebody over there on the B offices. They didn't have that support. They will lose Bravo. And Epsilon is actually looking pretty darn good. 114 to 112. They've evened it up for the most part.
For now, we'll see as this one continues already. Once again, this kind of solo aggression from the Dexterity side is not going to render too many results. As, once again, David just leveling it out. He seems to be doing more than he needs to. As David, he seems to be holding his sights solo, picking up where Mayek left off, perhaps, as that A and B site still ringing true for Epsilon for now. But the question is how long can they keep that C flag pressure going? And the answer is absolutely none at all, as you see Horek fall to next.
Yeah, he does end up falling over there 2-9. We do have Ness getting the burn over there onto that B side. Wag, though, was still up and alive on the backside of A, not able to make any plays there. Does end up getting picked up. Ledge control, though, will go over here towards Desk right now. We do have a little bit of pressure here from Epsilon. Safe going down inside the offices there. David 2K trying to get onto that B side. Not going to be happening there. But, I mean, really for now, Epsilon's playing this a lot better than I expected them to. I don't know if it's the fact that, well, it's a bad map for Dexterity or if it's a good map for Epsilon. I'm not sure which one's the case. But for now, they are hanging in there.
They are indeed. B and C lighting up for Dexterity now as they're going to basically do what Dexterity does best. You can just see the blue sides encroaching on towards this flag. Horek knowing what's approaching. They've already got the scout with the spot and they're looking for a second as well as Duke and Horek chime in with one. They're going to see a third come in as well. No, you're not. What is going on? Julio just seems unhittable as he just dives through into the meeting room. Unscathed, it seems. And now, with all of that going on, the dust begins to settle, and all of a sudden, Dawnbreaker is starting to look all the more Brazilian. A and B now under their control, and we'll see how long they can maintain.
Yeah, Mav is going to be back behind. Getting taken down after he got the frag on Safe, so he was able to do a little bit of damage. At the same time, we do have Ness starting to push up on the north side of the map. He's actually waiting for somebody to potentially go back by him. Not going to be able to see anybody just yet. He might be getting shot from behind, and he does. Mayek will be able to find him out. So really good plays there from Epsilon so far of cleaning up their back flags. That's something that a lot of teams don't actually do, is just, go back, look, make sure there's nobody hiding in particular situations. But we are going to be seeing 9 doing some work there on top of Bridge. He's going to spot out at least 2 players down below, picking up Horek. Nice play there, as he was, you can definitely tell that these guys are used to having more than one person coming after him. Immediately, he snapped over there towards Bridge, expecting a player to come around.
Yeah, and I mean, Epsilon do or die as this is kind of going back and forth, tit for tat. Still, though, the lead in the hands of Dexterity. It feels like it's been a long time since we saw Epsilon the lead of this game. As, I mean, yes, it's a small margin, but it's enough in this first half of map number 2. Spray going down, exchange over towards that top side of the map. It's going to be Mayek who prevails with the AEK, and now he's going to once again just make a bit of a move, trying to make something happen over towards B. It is, of course, under Epsilon control for now, but it all comes down to their defense, which feels like Dexterity can just pick apart just like that. That's the 1v1 we just witnessed there. Ninixed getting the better of Horek, or I should be calling him 9. It's just, I have a kind of Anchorman when he reads the teleprompter. I will read whatever their name is, I will read it.
I do the same thing. But we are going to be seeing Mayek now waiting patiently for the push here onto Bravo. But again, nobody is sitting back there on A flag. Their anchor, Mayek, decided to go ahead and push on up, try and get maybe a spawn off for that B site. And yeah, it might work, it might not work. It's a dangerous play to make, but really, it's probably going to come back to bite him. Oh, Mayek right there. Really good frag. Unfortunately, the other team had a little bit of a buddy system going on there, and he will end up going down. So C flag going into the possession right now of Epsilon. They are going to be able to control really the worst side of the map. We do see more spawns coming back in onto that C side, and Mav is going to be very, very aggressive up here as he does trade out with at least one more player from Epsilon. 71 to 50 tickets here, as Epsilon still trailing only by about 20 though.
And so Wag doing his very best, and it's enough as he takes down David, and he's just keeping these sites safe. These kind of 1v1 duels, I would love to just somehow render a statistic to see how many 1v1s Dexterity have been winning, because it definitely would be above 60 to even 70% I feel. We do see Epsilon, though, making good pushes when they're as a unit. This time, it's going to be a 1v1, and once again, we witness Nesk coming out on top of that one. Mav again onto Horik. Finally, though, the group of Epsilon starting to make something happen. Not enough. A and B still flying for Dexterity, and this ticket lead is starting to grow a little exponentially.
Yeah, this is getting scary right now as we do have Wag trying to find out over on the lockers, not able to get the play on him just yet. Oh, he's getting pushed there. Really good job there for Epsilon, not just sitting there waiting for the meds to actually heal up. So very good engagement there on their part. They will be able to get onto that Alpha burn. Nice pick up there. That was going to be 9 going down. So Epsilon taking control of that Alpha flag. The back C spawns are incoming. This is their chance right here. Right now, they've been able to control Alpha and Bravo. Nobody is behind them in this situation. They've cut the map in half, basically. We'll see if they can get these initial frags for the defense.
And so it all comes down to this. Epsilon, they have the potential to maintain this AB hold. They just want to slice that number down from Dexterity as best as they can, and that's certainly a good way to do it. Duke just mowing them down. Safe gets 2. That's 2 doubles back to back. That's 4 dead in the same amount of seconds, it seems. As now we're just going to see Nesk, the last man standing. He could be Desk if he wants. A little less inspiring name, though, as he's going to be charging it alongside his compadres on that A side. Nothing going to come of it just yet, though, as that flag is going to start raising, and this Epsilon trip cap could cut this ticket lead in half.
Absolutely. Duke PT, though, giving a little bit of ring around to Rosie here. He's going to be able to spot out Wag. Can he get the hip fire? He does. And right now, Epsilon has woke up. They're getting the frags. They're able to convert here. And yeah, 23 and 12 there for Duke. He is definitely alive, and he's feeling it right now just to get the rest of his team up and going. And they should be A-OK. C and B will be in their possession. We have a fairly aggressive push coming over here for Maya, because he's going to be able to pick up another frag there onto Julio. So, I mean, all of a sudden, it's like it's everything is working for him.
It's like Epsilon just took a leaf out of Infamous's book, like, oh, we're about to lose, let's turn it up a notch. Exactly. They do exactly that. B-side, though, is going to be taken over from Dexterity as the tickets will be suddenly level out, 23 apiece, as this one is about to get a little down and dirty. David needs to hit that hip bar, and he doesn't. Oh, my Lord, that was not an exchange you want to lose out on, as now, again, we're going to be seeing this time the Brazilians go head-to-head. This time we see Epsilon prevail, as now the map has just changed from an all-red scenario to an all-blue, as B is going to be the first port of call for the Epsilon boys.
Absolutely. 9 going down there onto that Bravo flag. We are going to be seeing it starting to transition a little bit. It looks like, oh, they did get wiped up there. So Epsilon now spawning all back over here onto the seaside. They have 1 more push left in them. And look at the pre-fire right there. Julio just assuming that there's going to be guys coming around, shoots the rocket, and will be able to take down the cover as well as get a little bit of splash damage on them. And now we are going to be seeing Julio going back and forth with a fight there on top of Bridge. Does lose, but it's not going to be enough, as we will be seeing them taken down. 19 tickets to 0 in favor of Dexterity.
19 tickets. Wow. It's, I mean, let's be honest, it's not the 60 that they had about, what was it, a minute before. So Epsilon, good job in slicing them down, and a good job all round for Duke, who just seems to love the pressure. He's like, oh, we need to win this? Okay, 25 frags.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Mav also throw down 21 and 12, doing a great job there on his team, but still, you know, Duke right now is being that player to, you know what he reminds me of? 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, I bet.
Duke PT 3 seasons ago, where he was the guy that you just never wanted to play against because he could single-handedly carry his team on frags. We hadn't seen him in a while. Yeah. He's kind of been just hiding every now and then he comes out, but for the most part, he's not there. But this match, he's coming to fight, man. He's not playing around.
And you can see there the boys arguing, it looked like they were bickering, and I think that's actually something else that's been mentioned, is that, you know, when you have a team that's been together for so long, there can be that danger where you get comfortable around each other and arguments can occur mid-game. That is the worst thing you can happen. That will rip a team apart, because you start having these bickers, like, so someone can say one thing that brings up a whole kind of plethora of previous arguments, and it can get really nasty. And of course, that is something that Epsilon can be kind of prone to, but it looks like, because I saw a smile sneak onto Safe's face there, so perhaps things have been resolved.
I think they're feeling confident. I think they're feeling really confident right now. They were able to bring that back from about a 30-ticket deficit there at the very beginning. What looked to be a very brutal hold that was going to be happening as they were stuck in this back seat, turned it around mid-game to end up clutching out a 3-cap. And those, oh my God, those kills on bridge. The kills on bridge were amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you take a look at it. Duke BT playing very smart, sitting there waiting for them to pass him by, picks up the 2-piece, then safe on the back end of it, picking up 2 more and the res. Ridiculous right there. Ridiculous.
Almost as ridiculous as that gorgeous camera shot. Look at that. Oof.
That is awesome. I love David's face.
ESL One Spring Battlefield 4 is exactly what it says, and that's where we are here at the semi-finals. It's our first semi-final, another one to be coming up straight after this one, but Dexterity, the boys from Brazil, up against the Hope for EU alongside Fnatic.
Another thing I want to mention is the fact that Epsilon had the harder breakout side in that last game. They started in ditch.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be starting on top of C. So this is going to be interesting to see how Epsilon actually takes the first couple of seconds in this match. If they're able to get out ahead a couple of tickets, or if they're going to be kind of stuck behind.
Yeah, my first interest is going to be this opening frag, and it's going to be picked up this time by Duke. 9 was the man to fall, and it was Julio who was trying to provide backup, as we do see another one bite the dust, in the wise words of Queen, as now we're going to be seeing B and C holding steady for Epsilon. This is the opener that we expect, right? This is what we expect to see on this US side. And now, David falls finally. That seems to be the first frag, if not the second, for the Dexterity side, as they're going to be starting as they mean to go on here.
Yes, the wise words of Queen. But right now, we are going to be seeing Epsilon still control with that B and C site. 149, 138. This is the start that they needed to have. They need to get out to about 30-40 ticket advantage before they can really give up any kind of control anywhere on the map. And if they can just keep that distance there with those 30-40 tickets, they should be all right. Prevent them, not getting any triple caps on Dexterity's side. But we will be seeing right now Horik trying to go around over there onto Planners, picking up at least one of those kills. Might be able to get a 2-piece. He does. Nice shots. And we'll open up that entire north side of the map. And now Dexterity is in a wipe position. They actually had squad wipe there. So we will be seeing all back C spawns coming into play. The rotation for Alpha. Epsilon definitely waking up here.
This is what they needed, that smile. That was all they needed. A little cheeky smile from Safe, and all of a sudden they've lost just 2 tickets at the start of this game, and they're not showing any signs of stopping. As you can see once again, this 1v1, this is a 1v1 they need to win out on. This Julio going head-to-head with Duke, and Julio does prevail with just a scrap of hit points remaining, as now 9 is making a move for Mayek. This could be another 1v1. These are really the kind of 1v1s we've been trying to highlight, as B-side is once again going to be under Dexterity rule.
Yeah, and this is something that we've seen time and time again. We have a team getting a squad wipe, pushing up very aggressively, but then losing it overall. So they will be able to keep control of that alpha flag. We do see Horik up top right now. He's all alone in a 1-on-2. Takes a nade for his troubles, so not going to be able to do much there. But they will be able to slow push down into Bravo, so it's not lost here. They still have really good map position. I mean, overall, you want to have alpha. They have about 30 ticket advantage at the moment as well. So, this is still looking up, I think, for Epsilon. Duke not able to get the shots there inside locker. Mav, though, blowing out that Rex. Going to be able to pick up at least one, not the second one, as Epsilon, just too many players there to have to deal with. 9 coming around the backside. I believe he finished that out, but we still have a couple of players here from Epsilon inside lockers. They didn't clean it.
They didn't clean it, and that's going to be really there to bite them in the butt, as we're going to be seeing a trade-off. A starting to fly for Dexterity. Both A and B currently neutral, and it looks like they're going to eventually light up with a BC hold for Epsilon. Now they have that lead. They need to maintain. They need to keep hold of this. Don't forget the 19 tickets that Dexterity currently clutch from the first half, as this one is actually, when you take them into account, pretty damn level.
Yeah, they need to intelligently push up onto that alpha flag. They can't get too aggressive here. Leave B flag wide open. Looks like they will be able to get that particular burn going on in their favor, but 9 was able to swing out towards that ledge play, able to clear that out completely. Now he's going to be in a position to push up onto that Bravo flag.
And so, A and B for Epsilon. 7 frags for Mayek already. He seems to be doing a fantastic job, and we're going to be seeing how they're feeling eventually when we do jump on into the Epsilon TS. As eventually you can see Safe trying to do something. David as well. They seem to be just back and forth trading off, as the A site is going to be flying for Dexterity, as Nesk gets another one. They seem to be just back and forth at this point. Now, A and B. Make it just A. Actually, suddenly Dexterity have secured that A flag. C as well is now under scrutiny, and they're just constantly bickering, it feels, as these guys are going to be trying to do something they kind of, I'm not really seeing too much from them. It just seems to be frag for frag. B and C lighting up. Now certainly the B flag is flying for Dexterity. Epsilon, they have this lead, and it's going to be a question of how long can they maintain. Nesk wins out with double, and that is a really solid start for the boys in red.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nest right now is sitting up on top of Epsilon, or on top of Ledge right here. They will be able to try and fight their way out of that C side. Dexterity, though, getting control of that Alpha and Bravo, might be able to come back here as it's 107-85.
And so Epsilon, this is kind of the first lead they've felt. Let's see how things are going down in their team speak.
Guys,
behind us.
They're gonna push me from
We
highway.
have to kill them, not like a retard.
We're still ahead of them. Come on.
They're
feeling of it. Just leave C.
Leave C. Come on. Go office. Try to go ace test. Go ace test. Come on.
Come on, watch the back.
I'm watching the back.
One hour. Breach.
Two on bridge.
Watch the back.
I'm watching the back.
One bridge, one more.
Two.
One down back.
2 HP under bridge.
One more. Two under bridge, small bridge.
Three below breach.
One more. Only last one. Come on. I'm going in. Go back, C.
Nice.
That's two right. Go B.
Breach, guys. Focus.
Guys, they're coming in, guys.
And so 80-83 in Epsilon, they can just feel that lead dwindling, and they know that every frag matters. You can hear them just shouting, like, you know they kind of stress when they start repeating the call.
Yeah.
Hey. It's like, we know where they are. Kind of keep it cool, calm, collected. Either way, though, that is a trip cap for Dexterity as they are looking to start push Epsilon another peg down.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to be seeing right now a three flag advantage coming in here for Dexterity. C site is being capped over right now for Epsilon. And it's going to be really, really key here for them to try and get onto this B site. 4 players are up and alive here on B.
And so with just 63 left in the bank, even less so when you consider that first half, we're going to be seeing kind of last-ditch attempt to break this AB hold that Dexterity have kind of made their own. The stronghold, perhaps, as we are going to be seeing a back cap from Duke. There's people spawning in on that, using that kind of mobility to try and catch out Julio and Mav, who are going to be on their way to deal with them. As it's going to be coming down to a 3v2. Numbers do favor Dexterity, but not anymore. Great pickup from David. All of a sudden, Julio is the last man standing. He's down, and that was important. Now, with the C flag going capped over, the B is going to be open as well. And with just 2 remaining.
Still a one-on-one over here on the C flag, though. We have Dexterity trying to clean it out. Safe, though, doing a really good job of keeping the pressure onto Charlie, but not able to stay alive long enough. 4 players now spawning back in from C, but Epsilon here getting control of that Alpha Bravo. They're spread out fairly nicely, and we'll see if they can actually hold on to this. Horik, though, in the center, taking down 9, making it look very, very easy in that situation, but he is getting wrapped around upon, still trying to stay up and alive. Teammate Julio, though, for Dex, does end up getting picked up as well, so Epsilon really looking to come back in here, but again, 19 tickets, so this is crunch time. One mistake I think Epsilon can afford, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of go time for them. Let's not forget there are 3 more potential maps after this one. Zavod, Siege, and Paracel Storm. And Epsilon, they've had to do the unspeakable before. They've had to pick up 2 and then see the 3 fall back. In fact, the last time these guys met, they actually ended up coming back from a 2-map deficit. It's now 53-46. They have control. They have managed to stabilize. They have that AB hold. And it all comes down to this.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a listen in onto Dexterity.
Sozinho na flag, mano. Na flag.
Nasce mijo.
Tapete.
Peguei Charlie, porra.
Muito miado os caras no tapete. Muito miado.
Morri.
Vamos lá, galera. Último push agora,
Dá pra ir agora. Aí, galera. Foi 19?
19,
Quero
vamos lá.
nada.
Que?
Tá empatado, vamos lá.
Ó, spotado escritório.
Peguei um.
Peguei.
Vamos Charlie aqui.
Escritório,
Nossa, eles fizeram merda agora, velho. Vai.
Tem a última, tá?
Vai,
Um vivo só, eles fizeram muita merda.
Eu
Vamos,
acho que eles vão
porra.
na CC.
Sounds like they're saying, I've got C. Either way.
It sounds exciting, that's for sure. But 9 picking up a really good kill there onto Horik, 43-26. So Epsilon definitely trying to make a play of this. as we are going to be seeing that Seaside now starting to flash. Alpha flag will be going into the favor here of Dexterity. We could be seeing a 3-cap here potentially as Epsilon really struggling here to hold on in the later stages of the game. And Mayek will be alive. No, goes down. So really, really not looking good here for Epsilon. Alpha flag staying in their possession, but can they make that push down to B? What did I say before? They have one mistake. This is the mistake. Nothing else can happen after this. They need to get onto B flag, and they need to play basically perfectly after that, or this is going to be a 2-0 possibly here for Dexterity.
And I mean, I know 1-1 sounds a whole lot better than 2-0, as they're going to be hungry for this one. It all comes down to these final minutes. David can't quite connect the spray, forced to back away, get an extra magazine, and let 9 fully complete that capture over on towards the A site. And now, elsewhere on the map, the C flag is starting to be attempted to lift for the C statue area, and then suddenly Duke gets a very important frag, but that doesn't mean that the AB hold has changed. And now with just a few tickets, in fact, it's gone. We have seen 17 tickets met, and that was the threshold, of course, 19 from the first, and Dexterity have made it 2-0.
2-0. Not a good start out here.
Really not a good start. And I mean, that casual conversation I had with Safe outside where he said, you know, I'm really worried that we could get something.
Well, look at Safe. Look at him. Where's the intensity?
Yeah. Well,
where's the excitement?
I mean, it's just so difficult because you can see that there's just so much that they want to do, and it's just being shut down. They have all these ideas, they have these kind of strong individuals. We've seen Mayek, we've seen Duke, we've even seen stuff from Horek. And everything they just see, it feels like it's nullified when you just look at the piece of paper and see 2-0.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can't be easy.
I mean, that's the shame though of scoring a best of 3 or best of 5, because you don't actually see how well the teams did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the last match with MYM and SK. That was a best of 3, 2-0. But the closest match we've had so far. I mean, intense match. So yeah, I mean, it kind of feels a little bit bad here that we are seeing, you know, or Epsilon is seeing that 2-0 now. They are on the chopping block. They literally have to win 3 more in a row in order to secure themselves into the grand finals. They've done it in the past in other leagues. They've done it in the past in other games as well against other teams. But I don't know. Can we see it here against Dexterity?
I mean, gosh, they've done it before exactly against this team online over at BPL, but I think what really needs to be considered here is just the sheer amount of pressure currently riding on the shoulders of Epsilon. They got to the finals. They're like a regular presence now in that top 3. And to do so, they need to do better than this. Dexterity 2-0 of Epsilon. And now just 10 seconds on that countdown. You said it before, I think you summarized it quite beautifully. Epsilon are on the chopping block. And as we see Dexterity start to raise that axe, we see how Zavod is going to go down as we're about to jump into our first half of our 3rd map in this best of 5.
Yeah, absolutely. We have right now really, really good plays coming out for Epsilon. I would have to say I like it going over here towards Alpha with this particular push. He's going to go for a long back rage, and immediately we do see that B flag starting to get taken over here for Dexterity. Actually, Epsilon might be able to get Duke back behind enemy lines. Instead of going over to back tanks, which is what he normally does in this situation, he kind of cut it in half. But C-Site will be getting taken over right now for Dexterity, as they're going to be able to get a triple cap right from the start.
That is not good, but again, we know the risks in trip caps, and that risk just gets blown out of the water as WAG wins the crucial 1v1 up against Duke. You can sometimes see it, and sometimes that feels like kind of a bit of a nightmare, is you get a trip cap, and then immediately people throw it back with a trip cap back. Like, it feels like it can be just, that's one squad wipe, and all the sites are suddenly changed.
Yeah, it's because basically the teams don't know how to defend once they get a trip cap. They try and get too aggressive. What you need to do is find, okay, what flag out of all 3 of these are bad? We'll leave one guy at that flag, the rest of them pull back and play defensively.
Cut the rotten apple from the tree.
Exactly. So right now we do see that B side starting to head on over towards Epsilon's favor, as they will be able to get the cleanup and the cap. Backspawns though are going to be coming in. That's the bad part about A flag, is the backspawns coming in for Dexterity. But I think they're going to be looking in to try and push on for the C side. But really, Epsilon's kind of hesitating too much here.
They really are taking their time. Look at that already. That A-B hold is being questioned. It's going to be questioned once again by Dexterity's side. It's going to be Julio who's going to try and make a move for that one. And he's going to be easily picking. Oh, he's not. Oh, I spoke too soon. Horek quick on the trigger with the ACW. Manages to level out that one. But 9 going to meet a similar fate. Horek kills him. What on earth is going on here? As finally Duke does go down. But still, big frags from Epsilon. Crucial frags from Epsilon. But in the end, Dexterity pick up 2.
But this is definitely different than what we saw on Dawnbreaker, which was basically Dex coming out with a massive lead.
Yeah.
Lockers, Dex coming out with a massive lead. This time, very even. Very, very close map. So we are going to be seeing, though, a huge fight over onto the C side. What is going on there?
Whoa.
As a guy deciding to go ahead and hang by his arms. But Dexterity will be able to win out there onto Charlie flag. Also going to be able to contest B, getting that triple cap here for just a few seconds as all 5 players are going to be up and alive for Epsilon on top of A. Now, this is something that I mentioned before. Dexterity is amazingly good at being able to push players in the back of A and hold them there on Zavod. And that's exactly what they're going to be looking to do right now.
Yeah, this is kind of it for them. They've got this kind of strategy, they've got their paper, and they're just ripping it up, realizing that Dexterity are having none of it. B and C still flying for Dexterity as Wag once again winning on the 1v1 in mid. Great revenge frag though from David, and that's what we need to see more of, as again it's just going to be back and forth. Every time we start seeing these brawls, it is so very much a battle for the squad wipe. This time though, it looks like Dexterity have prevailed with 3 members down from the Epsilon side, and they look like this is very aggressive style. You can see right now the bodies are littering the battlefield, but all they're doing is containing that side over on A.
Well, and the other thing too is that Epsilon where they're fighting is not where they need to be fighting at. They need to be fighting on flags. So even if they do win out on these gunfights, where is it at? What is it actually accomplishing? Absolutely nothing. And once again, Dexterity going in for that triple cap.
They are so greedy, but it works because you can know Epsilon are just screaming like, what on earth is happening?
Yeah.
Like, you're just shouting names. Horek, what's going on? Mayek, what's happening here? And they don't know, and I wouldn't know, because all of a sudden, there just seems to be, it feels like Dexterity have more than 5 players right now.
That's exactly how it feels, and I've actually heard that comparison from North American teams when they played against them. It's like they feel like they're always putting pressure on. Like, where are these guys coming from? There's no way the spawn timer is that slow. But we are going to be seeing right now A and C in favor here of Dexterity, as they are definitely going to try and hold them now over onto that B side of the map.
62 tickets. That number is falling faster and faster now, as we see Dexterity losing just 20 tickets so far in this one, and now we see once again the Epsilon side on a dwindling kind of lead. Let's hear how it's going for them.
Two C under.
Pass back, one more.
Well, I think that speaks for itself.
Hold it.
Yeah, I think right there, that is pretty much the spirit's gone.
God, that is so eerie to be tuning into a TeamSpeak with safe and hearing nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Holy moly.
No excitement. No, hey, let's rally our troops here.
No calls.
Nothing.
Brett,
Nothing. They have, I don't know if they've reserved themselves to losing this particular match or what it is, but I don't know. Whatever Dex has done, it's just amazing. They've demoralized them. They've pushed them in the back. There's nothing that Epsilon has been able to do here recently to come back at us. 120 tickets to 40.
Epsilon realizing that their chances are starting to dwindle, and they got so far. This is the semi-final, of course. 118 as Dexterity are finally going to be put on the back foot, but it feels like so little and so late.
That was 37. A very, very crucial squad wipe right there. The Epsilon needed something like that in order to get back into this match. Without that, I really don't see them being able to do much of anything else, but they need to be able to secure themselves at the very least a 2-flag burn. I think they just need to leave A alone. Don't even try and cap A. Basically, like you said, cut off the rotten apple, get rid of it, hold C and Bravo, just work on your frags, getting those kills, and just try and bleed as many tickets as possible. You're probably not going to win it, but you can at least get it down to 40 or 50.
And the kills, you just brought them up, are not representative of how this game is going. 50 to 38 is reasonable. They're not doing bad for frags, but we see Dexterity's presence on the map is just tenfold what Epsilon are putting up. And it just shows that it's definitely not all about the frags. It's about the important ones.
It's where the fight's going down.
Yeah.
And they're not happening on flags right now for Epsilon. So we are going to be seeing Duke PT, though, trying to hold on to the C side. Will be able to pick up at least one of those kills, but he tries to run out right to his death. Mav will be able to pick that one up. C flag going back into the possession here of Julio. At the same time, all 3 flags are flashing. Oh my God, Julio trying to clear out these last couple of players, will be able to do so. Lots of back and forth happening there onto that Charlie side, but Dexterity too strong on this. Once again, those back A spawns, just it's going to do them in.
This is insanity. They are everywhere. Never before have I been sitting here at a semi-final in the spring season finals, and I'm sitting there going, every single site is white. They are absolutely everywhere. There is a brawl everywhere. And I mean, Epsilon, they're kind of shaking their head. In fact, I just saw Drunks from Fnatic shaking his head, and he's watching this game like, What is going on? So 95 now to just 14 as Epsilon continue to crumble here.
They do indeed. And like I said before, there's not really much they can do. The triple cap, was that like 5 triple caps that we've seen here on Zavod, I believe?
I'm gonna get a tally out, Brett.
We're gonna have to take, start writing these down, trying to keep track of them all. But Dexterity will start to get picked up here on top of that A burn. But right now, it is looking like really, it's the Dexterity match. I mean, it's the Dexterity day.
This could very well be the Dexterity day. Of course, Grand Final coming up soon. You see the love hearts as they have some fans cheering on for them. And I mean, this really is some strong individual performances as well. 9 top of the scoreboard once again. And Mav, in fact, the entirety of the Dexterity lineup, pretty inseparable in terms of frags. Just Wag lagging behind somewhat. But on the other side of Epsilon, 2 standout individuals, Horek and Duke. We know Zavod is a map for Horek. Very strong player from there, but Mayek, Safe, and David really not getting off that starting line too much. But again, we said it before, let's not talk too much. Let's not linger on frags, because that was not necessarily a game about fragging. That was a game about the right type of fragging, and Dex were doing it.
That was position.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
That was pure position. And what we were talking about before with them being able to push them back inside A, it's exactly what happened. They were able to get control of C and B, push them all the way in A, didn't let them ever come out. And 94 tickets, is there a way, Alex, for them to come back? I'm trying to rack my brain right now. In all of the matches that I have seen.
If 4 members of Dexterity fall over and don't get back up.
If they have the Wag fall like yesterday?
Like, exactly. No, there is a way. 94 tickets is the threshold. Normally we say above 80 is difficult to come back from, is an understatement perhaps, but it all comes down to that start. That's all I can say. I mean, let's not plan this too far ahead. Let's not talk about the future so much. Let's talk about the now, which is basically how Epsilon choose to start this one. Dexterity, they started with a trip cap last time.
They did, but Dexterity has a better side to start out from. They have so many options that they can actually attack from. They can go for a big push to A, go ahead and lock that down with C, force them over there onto that Bravo point. Or they can go ahead, swing down, have basically an even breakout where they push 2 into B, 1 into mid, and 1 over for a back rage onto A. That's where they're probably going to get their back or their triple cap off of. But, I mean, they've got more options than what we see Epsilon. Epsilon, in my opinion, straight for C. You go straight for C, overwhelm them on Charlie, get that particular flag right there, and then try and work your way out of that.
And it looks like Dexterity have something else in mind. Look at this stack towards A. They're going to go and try and push towards Assembly, and he is making progress. He is just taking a lot of time with this one, as now the 2 players are going to be trying to maybe meet out on the 1v1. Instead, though, it's the mid side that's going to be the most action, as First Blood is drawn, safe, down and out. David and Mayek, though, chiming in with one of their own, and now already we see Epsilon start with this AB hold. But this is what you were talking about. This is where they now forget about A. David going to be forced to, as he goes down to 9, and start to turn their attention towards C.
Yeah, and this is what they need to do. Now, yes, they're going to be, at a map disadvantage here when they do cap onto Charlie, but the thing is that they can fight their way out of it. It's a lot easier to fight your way out of C's flag than it is trying to fight into Charlie flag. So they are going to be able to get that cap back. There it is. A is now going back into their favor. So we might be seeing a little bit of momentum switch over into the Epsilon's hands here, but Dexterity will be trying to push back in. We see those AB spawns coming back up, so A will be getting contested here pretty darn soon. Wag, though, will be up, maybe ready for this particular push. There's a guy around him. I don't know if he can hear the footsteps or what, but he's kind of hunting around, and he will be able to take him down using a suppressor. Was he using a suppressor there?
It sounded like it. No, it definitely did, and we'll see as we continue with this one. See, he's going to be holding that red dot sight, laser sight stubby, as it doesn't seem like we have the suppressor on the Dexterity side just yet. As now 140 to 128. This is kind of the start that we were expecting from Epsilon on the Russian side, but immediately Dexterity seemed to fight back with force, not forgetting 94 tickets. It feels odd to say, but it is the first half threshold in this semi-final in map number 3.
Exactly, 94 tickets in a best of 5. Woo. But yeah, we are going to be seeing right now Epsilon still getting over here onto that Bravo flag. Wag will be pushing back in onto that C side, as he is going to be pretty much uncontested. I mean, nobody's there from Epsilon to actually do anything about this.
Oh, we found him. He does have a suppressor.
He does have a suppressor. I thought it was next level strats right there, man. Why do you think Dexterity's been doing so well? Suppressor.
There we go. We found the answer. We've solved the problem. Europe, as now we're going to be seeing the A and C once again lighting up red. Red seeming to be the color of the day, isn't it? Dexterity are really just performing out of their mind and most likely seeing red at this point, as Epsilon are going to be really not too happy with this. 116 now to 124 as Dexterity just need to gather their forces and keep this hold.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just going to be burning us down.
Man.
You know, right now, they could pretty much just, you know, sit back, let Epsilon take a 3-cap for a little while, take a drink of water, and then be like, all right, let's go ahead and play now. And probably still win this match. But WAG is going to be downstairs, inside tunnel, will try and come around. Misses out the Epsilon player completely, but, you know, it's okay. He's got some pressure. He won't know where he's at, so he's going to be able to pick him up fairly easily there, as we do see a nade coming out of tunnels. So not able to spot out that last player from Epsilon. I think his teammate actually cleaned him up, spotting out another one trying to transition into that B flag. 104 to 120 though. We have about 8 tickets left for Epsilon to try and do something. A miracle would have that. The greatest comeback in Battlefield history would have to have happened right now, and I don't think this is going to be the one.
6 tickets is the magic number. Epsilon so very close to seeing this one end, and end in a bit of a shambles. Dexterity have just flexed their muscles, and it looks to me that the Brazilians have made their way into the final. It's going to be a few tickets left, and Dexterity, we thought they potentially could do it, but they have done it with such style as they knock down the previous finalists in what it took to just 3 maps in a best of 5. No sweat off their brow as they're going to be picking this one up. Just 2 tickets now remain as Epsilon look to have fallen flat in the semis.
The only other team that I would have expected to be 3-0 in a semifinals would have been Fnatic. They're the only other team that I could see this from. This is crazy right now. Dexterity proving that they are a team that you cannot play with. Yeah, I mean,
like,
did
that just happen?
Are we done yet? Was that the 3rd map? Are you sure, guys? That was the 3rd. I thought this was going to be a little bit harder.
Look at that.
But, you know, the South Americans right now are going crazy as he's showing off his Brazilian pride right there. He is happy. Julio, he is definitely out for blood, so we'll definitely be interested in the finals if they have clutched their way to possibly face off against a Fnatic or a MYM.
Yeah, I mean, incredible stuff. Good spirits though. Epsilon, to be fair, that's an experience that they will not forget lightly. No. I mean, that's gonna be, I mean, in their nightmares for a while, as Dexterity have really just demonstrated that there is really some overseas Brazilian talent. Overseas talent in general for Battlefield. I mean, we've seen that from them. Oceana's still yet to step up, but look at these guys from the Americas, just showing that they really can compete with the best. And of course, they're going to continue now to see if they can compete with the best, as they are going to be waiting now anxiously in the wings to see who they shall meet in the grand final for that biggest slice of 30,000 euros.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the scary thing is that this is not the only place that they dominate. You know, we were talking about earlier in the Cup, or in the Cups leading to this particular event in the qualifiers, they lost 2 maps, not matches.
Whoa.
Maps out of the entire season.
How many maps have they lost here, though?
That was 4 Cups, the group stages, and playoffs. They've only lost 1 map, and that was to MYM. Very first match that they played. Came down to 9 tickets in favor of MYM. In fact, MYM's the one that's taken them down the lowest so far in terms of tickets.
But in terms of like actual complete maps, they haven't lost one. 2-0, 2-0, 3-0.
Very true.
Dexterity have not lost a map.
They have completely gone through finals. Undefeated. Yeah, they are currently at 7 maps to 0. That is impressive. Again, the only team that we have ever seen that happen before was Fnatic.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was unprecedented up until today. So if you guys are Brazilians out there, if you're from South America, if you're from the Americas, you should be happy because this is your team here representing your region, and they are just, they're taking everything that we've known for Battlefield comp here in the past, and they're ripping it down, and they're saying, no. this is the way it actually is.
I mean, they are just breaking the meta, and let's find out what Mav has to say. He's over with Mitch.
Mav, what an absolute huge victory for you guys. A best of 5 going down to 3 games. The hope of the Americas on your shoulders, and you guys are carrying it with style. You always come down to the desk, and when we chat, you always seem quite calm and collected. But how are you guys feeling right now after knowing that you've made your way into the final against Fnatic?
We are feeling great. We took one of the favorites, I believe, and we took it with quite ease, honestly. So we are very confident for the finals, and we hope to do the same 3-0 against whoever comes.
Well, the Fnatic game versus MYM is going to be starting just a bit to see who's going to go into the finals. I know you guys are pretty much ready to face off any one of those two teams that goes there. And I know you're bearing a lot of weight and a lot of pride coming all the way from Brazil here. I mean, how do you keep calm under so much stress and all this fire? You guys were just always on top.
I mean, I think we have trust in our colleagues' abilities. We know what each other is capable of, so we just remain calm. We are actually remaining more calm than on the internet, which is weird, but we are doing an amazing job with our, how can I say it, communication skills, and we are doing good, yeah.
So tell me, anything special prepared for Fnatic if you go up against them in the final?
Fnatic.
Any special tactics? Will you change anything, do you think?
If we had one, I'm not gonna say it here, so.
Absolutely. Well, we'll wait and see. It's kind of hard to tell the difference. It's either run and kill them or run and kill them. So let's see if that's the same. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mav.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you guys. Good luck in the grand final. Well, where are we at now, ladies and gentlemen? Let us have a look at the bracket and start to follow the breadcrumb trail to our grand final here. We can see, obviously, Dexterity Gaming over Epsilon. Epsilon bowing out now, obviously, of the tournament. Fnatic, MYM coming up right after this. That's going to be a big game as well. Two teams are very familiar with each other. MYM, the only team to take a cup away from Fnatic for the entire season, and they're hoping to pull off something very similar right here.
Oh, we're going to see that's going to be a very, very sensational map, and I really cannot wait to get behind and cast this game. That's for sure.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you on the desk there, Milosh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we get back, the second of our semi-finals, it's going to be Fnatic MYM. This is not one you want to miss.